may be listening. We're on Fox Sports Radio, iHeartRadio, and FS1. Such a pleasure to be here today. Joy Taylor is joining me. Nick Wright, Joel Klatt today yell at me. How are you, Joy?
I'm great. We have our festive winter scene.
Yes.
Now, a little snow.
Heard for the holidays. Very nice. Our staff does a great job on this stuff.
They do.
So I've got a couple of things today, Joy, I want to start my show with. Let's start with number one. The college football playoff rankings came out today, and I don't care that Bama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State are the top four. Duh. It's why we don't need to expand the playoffs. I've been arguing this forever. There's never been more than really 3 teams in my life that I think can win it. This year, I really don't see... It's Alabama, Clemson to me. I don't think Ohio State's defense is good enough, but let's move on to the really important stuff to me, is that Florida has 2 losses, Georgia has 2 losses, and they're ahead of Cincinnati, and yes, they are better than Cincinnati. One of Florida's losses is to the 5th-ranked team in the country, Texas A&M. Yes, they are better, and that drives you crazy. Colin, why play the games? Well, games are important. But I always tell Joel Klatt this, and he is outraged, and you are outraged. Games are not 100% of it. I consider a lot of things. What college football is trying to do, and they are right for doing this, is to encourage the powerhouse schools to put it out there a little. Alabama, go play Oklahoma. Ohio State, go play Oklahoma. Texas, you go play a USC, a Miami out of conference. Put it out there, and we will not punish you. You can lose that game. We're not going to make it all about going undefeated. And that is the right thing to do. Because these schools control 30% of their schedules. And for the betterment of you, the consumer, and me, the media person, and the sport's overall health, you don't want Alabama playing Panera Bread 4 times a year. You want USC, you want Tennessee, you want LSU, Georgia. Notre Dame didn't have to schedule Georgia. They were 2 great games. And Notre Dame's going to do it again. Notre Dame's on Ohio State's schedule 2 times in the next 3 or 4 years. They're going to be underdogs in those games, but it makes the sport better. So I don't just look. We're trying to encourage that, not have all the big dogs petrified at records and ducking that so you get a September of college football that is just awful, 68-8. That's the first thing. I want Oregon-Auburn. A couple years ago in the opener, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix. Come on, I'm sitting there Saturday night like, how great is this? We're not even in conference play. The second thing about records is the Steelers had a better record than Buffalo. Who was a better team? The Browns had a better record than Baltimore on Monday Night Football. Who was obviously the better team? Records, even in the NFL, records don't mean anything. But we know they don't mean anything in college football. The 3 factors I consider have always been this. The games, watch the games. Do you win most of them? And what do you look like? Number 2, what conference are you in? Okay, 7-1 in the SEC is a hell of a lot harder than 7-1 in the Pac-12. And I live in LA, and I'm a Pac-12 fan. You lose a game in the SEC or 2, you're playing in front of 104,000 people. Humid, crazy, you can smell bourbon in the air, and you lose by a field goal, and I'm supposed to be punitive against that? No, I'm going to be punitive if you lose a Pac-12 game on the road, played at noon in front of 41,000 people, where you can hear your coach talking the sidelines. So I watch the games. What is your conference? And I also pay attention to what is happening today. It is the early signing day today. What's your personnel look like? Who do you recruit? Cincinnati undefeated. They average 48th best recruiting class in the country. There has not been a national champion over the last couple of decades, not one that I can find, that was not a top 10 recruiting power. That hasn't happened in 20 years. I watch today. Today's big. I watch where all the best high school players go. The kids know who have the better players. They want to play with the better players. And you're all arguing about it as media and adults. The best quarterbacks in the country are going to the best schools because they want to throw to the best receivers and be protected by the best left tackles. The 17-year-old kids know where all the good players are. And you're trying to tell me Cincinnati's got more than Florida? Then why isn't Cincinnati beating Florida for players? Because the kids know where all the good guys are. So as an adult, try to be smarter than 18-year-olds because they're telling you where all the good guys go. By the way, if a kid didn't throw a shoe in the Florida game, we wouldn't be having these conversations. That's the only reason we're having them. Some young kid made a mistake and threw a shoe. But what we're trying to do in college football is encourage big games. Next 3 years, the Ohio State Buckeyes play Oregon, Notre Dame. Bama in the next 5 years plays Miami, Texas, Wisconsin, Florida State. We want more of that. You can't be totally beholden to records. Hell, you watched Sunday Night Football. The Steelers had the better record than the Bills. Who was better? Easily Buffalo. The Browns had the better record. This is the NFL over the Ravens. Who was better? If Lamar doesn't go out with cramps, that game's not close. You can't be beholden to records. Stop all the whining by the media. 18-year-old kids today are telling you they want to go play with the best players. And you're 48 and whining about Cincinnati's record. Grow up. By the way, Cincinnati has 2 great NFL players. They're brothers. Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce. I'm going to go with genetics over the power of Cincinnati football. Stop making arguments that 18-year-olds can figure out. 18-year-olds today are going to the best programs because they want to play with the best players. And the best players historically win the national champions. If you're 48 and can't figure out that Florida's got more good players than Cincinnati, that is a you problem, not mine. Go Gators. And Georgia. I live in L.A., and I'm an SEC homer. All right, let me get into this story.
Hey, welcome back. The Herd is coming up next right here on FS1. So let's head over and check in with Colin this morning. Hey, Colin, what's on the show?
I'll make the argument that the NBA is not necessarily better because Giannis stayed in Milwaukee. It would have been probably better if he would have gone to the Lakers or Miami. Plus, college football, yes, 2-loss Florida is still better than undefeated Cincinnati. Yes, they are. That's coming up.
All right, Colin, thank you. The Cowboys are 3-point home underdogs this week, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook, as they host the 49ers. Dallas is coming off a win against Cincinnati, while San Francisco lost last week to Washington. So, Shannon, are you surprised by this point spread?
I am, Skip, considering the 49ers have lost 5 of 6. Now, they've lost to some good teams. Lost to Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, beat the Rams, lost to the Bills in Washington. So I am a little surprised. Now, Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, did say Kittle might practice this week and could be there. But considering that they're playing the, third-string quarterback with all the injuries they've been hit with, yes, I am surprised the Cowboys are underdogs at home.
I'm actually shocked by this line because I have little to no respect for what's left in San Francisco because Fred Warner got hurt and he had an MRI. He's very questionable.
Right.
Mostert got hurt. He's very questionable. MRI 2 days ago.
Right.
Debo's is out. And all of a sudden they're weighing, should we go back to C.J. Beathard, who's 1-9 as a starter because Nick Mullins has now thrown 10 interceptions, fumbled 7 times and lost 3 of them. You want to talk about a turnover machine? He's beyond Carson Wentz as a turnover machine.
Yes.
He
makes Carson Wentz look like Aaron Rodgers.
He does. And he literally handed the game to Washington the other day and let them run away with it, right?
Fumble and a pick 6.
Okay, so what's left in this cupboard? Not a whole lot.
Skip, Vegas think they slick. They try to do a switcheroo on us. Oh, Cowboys are underdog. Man,
my Cowboys are coming off a dynastic victory at Cincinnati, 30-7. That was a tour de force, right?
Yeah, man, come on,
maybe
Skip.
not, but
underdogs get the Cowboys.
I really believe that my team should win this game.
Yes, they should be favored. Not underdogs. Hold on, you just told me after everything, C.J. Beathard or Nick Mullins, and you're going to talk about your team should be your team is underdogs to this?
Yep. I think we're going to win this, and then we'll be right back in the race again. I'll get tortured another week.
Skip, you're not winning anything. You win this game, but y'all not going anywhere.
How hard has this season been for you, Skip?
Awful.
Every single week. You never know what you're going to get. That is it for Undisputed. Good stuff today, guys. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning. The Herd is on right now. Have a good day.